This video is about an opinion I've had for most of my whole life. Honestly, it's not the most important topic. You might not even care that I had this opinion, but up until last year, I fiercely held on to the belief that the piano is the best instrument in the world. First of all, there is no best instrument in the world. Music is subjective. Sonically, you can't really say any instrument is better than another one. Every instrument plays a part. An orchestration of multiple instruments playing together often adds up to more than the sum of its parts. So it's not like there's necessarily a sliding scale of importance when it comes to musical instruments. That being said, I put the piano above all others. I used to. Not because it's the best instrument, but because I believed it was the best instrument for the average person or for the average musician. Now, what did I mean by that? I meant that if you're going to play a musical instrument or learn to play one, and you can only pick one, just one, then the piano is the one that you should pick over all others. And my reasoning, the piano is simply the most capable instrument overall. Number one, tone range. On a full piano, there's 88 individual keys. That's a really wide range of notes to work with. On a violin, it's only 51. On a guitar, there's like 46 to 49. On a saxophone, there's like 33. You get the picture. The piano dominates this metric. Number two, accessibility. On the piano, every single note is in sequential order, low to high, left to right. The keys are a nice size, nice and big, you can't miss them. It's instantly intuitive how the instrument works, even to a beginner. So the learning curve is really, really quick, and you can pick it up more easily than something more complicated to play. It's simple. You want a certain note, you hit the key. You don't have to worry about frets or covering a hole to stop airflow. You just press the key. You're also playing with your hands. That's obvious, but it's worth noting because it gives you more music to play. With 10 fingers, you can play up to 10 notes at a time, and compared to a wind or a brass, where you have to use your mouth and you only get like one note, there's exponentially wider variety of chords and musical texture that you have access to on a piano. Speaking of mouth instruments, let's compare maintenance. On a piano, there's no reeds, there's no spit buildup, there's very few parts. You don't have to break it down and assemble it again. It's a whole lot easier to maintain than other options. That's another plus for the piano. Number three, versatility. Given everything you can do with the piano, it can fit sonically almost anywhere. This versatility is the reason why the piano is so prevalent. It can play an entire song by itself. It works well with other instruments. It's capable of producing an almost endless array of moods and atmospheres. There's pretty much no song that it can't replicate regardless of the genre. You can play extremely simple songs. You can play complex songs. If you're looking for the best all-around long-term investment, learning one instrument, the piano is the way to go. I was convinced of this. I was like, it's the king of utility. It's the meat and potatoes of music. Most other instruments are just a side dish or garnish or just an ingredient. This is what I used to think. As you might have guessed, I first learned to play music on a piano. My parents got us a digital keyboard, and I must have been around like 6 years old at the time, but I played around with it and I picked it up well enough for my parents to admit that I had a knack for it. And they offered to sign me and my brother up for piano lessons. I'm pretty sure they also asked if we wanted guitar lessons. My mom also got us 2 kid-sized guitars for me and my brother during that time. And we both tried it out, but we didn't really stick to it. For me, I didn't like the fact that you had to tune the strings before you played. The keys on a digital piano are already tuned, so why bother? I didn't like fiddling with the frets. They made my fingers hurt. Overall, I didn't like the interface. The notes seemed jumbled all over the place. Why couldn't they exist in a straight number line like they were on the piano? On a piano, it goes A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And I can recognize a B just by its shape. On a guitar, the strings are E, A, D, G, B, and then E again. And all the frets looked identical to me at the time. So from learning how the guitar worked to trying to play it, for me, it just felt like whoever invented the guitar just mixed up all the notes in some arbitrary order. And ever since that decision, everybody's had to bend over backwards and mold themselves to the complicated interface. That's what it felt like. It just seemed like too much work. I mean, if I want to hit a C chord on the piano, I just hit 3 keys, maybe 4, with one hand. If I want to hit a C chord on the guitar, I have to put my pinky on 2, ring finger on 3, index on 5 with my left hand, and then strum in my right, pray to God I'm not touching anything else, and then I get my chord. It was confusing, and it was overly complicated to my, child mind. So when I was a kid, I stuck to the piano. I put the guitar down, and I counted it out as an inferior, over-designed, complicated fingertip remover. That was a mistake, because the guitar is the best instrument in the world, and it's a shame it took me up until now to realize it. So what happened? Why didn't I realize this at first? My excuse? I was too naive. I wasn't good at the guitar immediately, so I figured that I didn't have guitar playing ability. Also, I was farther along on the piano, so I figured, what's the point? Like, why torture myself? I just wanted to play music, and if one instrument helps me do that better than another one, then who needs the other one? I didn't really understand the compounding effects of continuous practice. I couldn't see a future where I would eventually be good at the guitar. Going through life, anybody I saw playing the guitar, I just assumed they were more naturally gifted than I was. Good for them, I thought. I bet their fingers hurt. I actually might have garnered some resentment against guitar players since I didn't think I could do it. Jealousy, even. I convinced myself that I didn't even like the guitar in the first place. I told myself that it was too country, that it was corny. I associated with like youth pastors and camp counselors that people make fun of. In my mind, the piano was more elegant, it was more refined, it was more civilized. We're not living in the Wild West. These are things I told myself. I didn't have persistence in practicing the guitar, so I invented my own narrative and blocked off my own opportunity. A few years went by like this, but eventually I started to get some hints from the universe that I had made the wrong judgment. A big hint: video games. Specifically, Guitar Hero 3. We ended up getting a PlayStation 2 in my house. Sometime around middle school, me and my brother both got hooked on Guitar Hero. Before we even had it in the house, like I would play it at any chance I got, like at a friend's house, at a Best Buy, at a Walmart. It was just something about completing a song and lighting up the notes and competing for accuracy that just really satisfied the musical part of my brain, as I'm sure the developers intended. Even while playing in a virtual band that toured around the world, I still didn't see myself as a guitar player. Like, I was good at playing it, but I credited my video game skills, not my musical ability. I figured a real guitar would be far more complicated than the 5-color button array that you get on a console guitar, which it is, but that's not the point. The point is I was getting a crazy amount of enjoyment out of just pretending to be a guitar player in that game. And although I didn't know it at the time, it was a huge foreshadow to future events. Like, looking back now, it just makes perfect sense. Up until just a year ago, the only guitar that I had ever owned was the small kid guitar that my mom got me when I was like 7 or 8. Throughout most of my life, I had never even, think about it. I'm good at playing music, but it wasn't really the focus of my life. It's never really been the focus growing up. Even with the piano, it's not like I was a serious and classically trained musician. I don't even read music. I play by ear. I've never played concerts or recitals outside of a couple of talent shows. Growing up, I focused on the stuff most people focus on. You're going to school, applying for colleges, looking for jobs. I don't self-identify as a musician, but I am music adjacent. For example, when I was in college for a while, I lived in a dorm with a bunch of music majors. So I get bitten by the musical bug every so often. It's kind of a recurring thing. Like I said before, when my brother first showed me an Ableton Push, I didn't rest until I had one of my own and learned how to put beats together. This was a couple years ago. What I didn't say at the time was that he also played the guitar a little bit and showed me that, which was a surprise to me. I didn't know my brother knew how to play the guitar, so I was impressed when I saw him do it. It made me wonder, maybe I could learn how to do that, maybe, kind of open that door. So fast forward to more recently, like maybe last year, I'm on YouTube watching videos. The algorithm eventually starts recommending me guitar content, guitar covers, guitar lessons, type of stuff that make the instrument look approachable, maybe fun even. I completely caved at this point. Like, I was ready. I had to be real with myself. I've been hating on the guitar for most of my life. I had to be real. It's like, for no real reason, I've been hating on the guitar. It's a great sounding instrument. People love it and play it all over the world, and it can't be that wrong. I've got a musical mind. My parents confirmed that. I know music theory. I play piano. I love Guitar Hero. I like Rock Band. I like Beat Saber on VR. I like pretty much every music, rhythm, video game in existence. So there's no reason why I wouldn't like playing the guitar if I actually figured it out. I just had to be real with myself. This was last year. So I went to Amazon and I ordered a $70 acoustic guitar. I ordered picks, I ordered finger protectors. 2 to 3 days later, I was ready to go. I Googled a sheet with guitar chords on it, and I told myself that I would practice consistently until I saw results. I'm an adult now. I know that natural ability isn't really a thing. Practice makes perfect. Practice becomes instinct. That's how you learn to drive. That's how you learn to walk. That's how you learn to speak your first language. Back in 2017, I played enough Fortnite to build walls and ramps during combat without even thinking about the complicated sequence of button pushing I was doing. It happened instinctively. And that was just after a couple of months of practice on a brand new game. I felt like if I could do that for a silly video game, then there's no way I wouldn't eventually be able to handle a guitar. So I practiced. and it made my fingers hurt. So I put on the rubber caps and I kept going. And it was tough to get used to. So it went really slowly at first, but eventually coming back day after day, I started to feel my brain and my hands slowly start to get a better and better grasp of the instrument, feeling more and more familiar each time. And again, this is how everything works. Like, you're not gonna be good at driving until you've been doing it for a long time. You know, you have to get over that first initial hump, you know, that learning curve to get yourself used to doing something new. Once that happened on the guitar for me, my life was completely changed. That sounds hyperbolic, but seriously, it's expanded so many things that I thought about myself and about music. I'm even making a video about it. After I got that first acoustic guitar, I got an electric guitar. After that, I ordered a bass guitar. Now, if you think that I'm one of those guitar guys now that's picked up the guitar and about to start a whole new personality and start wearing fedoras, rest easy. I already went through the fedora phase. The guitar has turned my entire musical ideology, philosophy upside down, which may be a big deal or might not be, depending on how important music is to you. It's pretty important to me, as you can see. As of now, I am completely team strings, okay? Give me the strummables, give me the pluckables. That past version of me, the guy who thought the piano was the golden instrument, I don't know that guy. Can't relate. I don't know what happened. To be clear, I would still put the piano in second place, like, you know, second tier. But the guitar ran the race in half the time, and I just didn't notice because I was purposefully looking away. Here's why the guitar is better than the piano. I said the piano has the largest tone range, and that's true. But when it really comes down to it, you're not going to really play that much outside of a C2 to C7 range. That's 61 notes. And when you look at it that way, a guitar only has like 10 fewer notes on it than that. So there's still a pretty wide range of notes to choose from on a guitar. I guess it depends on how much stock you personally put into the notes at the margins. Up to you. I said the piano had the highest accessibility. And it's true that the piano is probably the easiest instrument to learn. You know, the keys are nice and wide and easy to press, but the fact that they have to be spread across a 5-foot wide horizontal space does come with drawbacks. For one thing, it's not very portable. If you want to play the piano, you have to actually go and sit down and play the piano. On the other hand, if you have a guitar, you can take it anywhere, upstairs, downstairs, outside, inside, upside down, whatever, anywhere you want. Another knock against the piano is that it just takes more work to play. Intervals between notes are physically farther apart. Going from E3 to E5 on the piano requires me to move my entire arm and shoulder joint. On the guitar, it's just a flick of 2 fingers, and that's because a guitar is essentially 6 mini pianos stacked on top of each other. It makes the notes overlap, which is counterintuitive at first, but once you've acclimated to it, the guitar is one of the most effortless instruments that you can play. All the motion and action of playing the instrument exists in a relatively small area, which makes note accuracy a little more challenging, but it rewards you ergonomically. It's almost like a video game controller. Everything about the instrument is designed to give you the maximum amount of musical ability with the minimum required effort. So you can play for longer durations. On the other hand, any decently long session on a piano is just going to give you tired shoulders and wrists from going octave to octave on weighted keys. The only real drawback to the guitar is the initial comfort and the initial learning curve. Like, it will make your fingers hurt at the beginning, but your skin eventually toughens up, you know, and once you get past that and fall in touch with the instrument, it starts to feel like home. So much of it is about the feel. I can feel my way around a guitar in a way that I just can't on the piano. I know a lot of people play the piano without looking at their hands, and I can too, you know, sometimes if I'm comfortable in a key. Anybody who's good at the piano knows that each key has its own look and feel, and they can recognize them that way. But just because I might be able to feel the difference between a B flat major chord and an A flat minor chord doesn't mean I'm going to accurately hit it every time when I'm dropping my hand down an octave going 90 beats per minute. So I look at my hands because there's so much motion on the piano, and you can sometimes lose where you are. Playing the piano feels like playing Dance Dance Revolution with like a light pad on the floor, where you have to personally jump to whatever note you want to hit and check yourself for accuracy. What I've come to really like about the guitar is that it's a whole lot easier to know where you are on the instrument just by feel alone. You know, you practice over and over again what the notes feel like, and it gets easier and easier to just flow with the instrument and focus on the music instead of constantly checking where you are. It's like playing a video game with a controller that you're used to. You know, you're not thinking about where your fingers are and what your fingers are doing. You're just 100% focused on the action that you're creating. Holding a guitar feels like all the music is at your fingertips and at the ready. You don't have to move your hand to it. And when you play it, the control you feel, it feels similar to like driving a car down a street where you're making it turn and speed up and slow down, and you can change the gears, and all the while you're getting the feedback sensations from the engine and from the inertia, the tires and suspension, the strings, the dynamic. That's what playing the guitar is like. I said a guitar is 6 pianos stacked on top of each other, but it's actually better than that. Piano keys are rigid in a way that guitar strings just aren't. So instead of 6 sets of rigid keys, it's actually more like you've got 6 beautiful voices in a choir that you're conducting like finger puppets. You know, you can bend the tones, pinch notes, slide to different keys, all kinds of things that I don't know how to do yet. All kinds of things that make the piano feel clunky in comparison. Pianos have hammers that hit a string when you press a key. You know, meanwhile on a guitar, it's pure strings. You're literally one step closer to the music, directly manipulating the vibrations yourself, free from the limitations of static notes. Playing a guitar feels like playing the piano with the condom off. Let's talk about versatility. The piano is versatile. We've covered this, but it's also hard to overstate the massive effect and influence the guitar has had over music also throughout its existence. It's a pivotal part of rock music, jazz, blues, country, pop music, folk music, hip hop. Like, you know, there's acoustic guitar and electric guitar and bass and banjos and ukuleles. Similar to the piano, there's a huge amount of sonic capability that guitar type instruments give you as far as chords and simultaneous bass and treble, melodies on melodies, crazy textures and effects. An acoustic guitar even works as a drum. I am very much a newcomer to guitars and the world of strings, but nevertheless, I am completely converted. I am such a big fan of strings now. I could see myself getting a full-size harp one of these days and just playing it all day long. I could. At first, I didn't think a guitar was for me. That's my loss. I wish I had been playing guitar my whole life. I'd blame my parents, but it was me who originally blocked the ball when they threw the alley-oop. So here I am, 20 years later, trying to catch up. I practice pretty often, always looking for new ways to improve and gain new abilities. Over the COVID-19 pandemic, I've spent a lot of time chilling at home. Playing the guitar can make that really relaxing. I definitely recommend it. I'm not a guitar expert, and I may never be one, but I've definitely fallen in love with the instrument. At first, I thought it was a little too, and maybe a little too. But what turned me around on it was educating myself on guitarists and seeing where I personally fit as far as my style. You know, getting inspired by people that I could look up to, legends like Prince, Jimi Hendrix, Chuck Berry. More than anything, just continuous practice day after day has gone a long way toward expanding what I think is possible for me to accomplish on a musical level. You know, we're all constantly changing and growing, and if you can grab your own reins and push yourself to change a little bit every day, over time you can make monumental changes, monumental shifts in your life. Segue to this video's sponsor, Skillshare. I've talked about Skillshare before. It's an online community of learners and teachers where creative people can go to improve their skills and learn new things. From music and camera work to gardening to doing your taxes and everything in between. Naturally, in this video, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about all the cool guitar courses they have for every skill level, of course, beginner, intermediate, advanced. There's breakdowns on fingerstyle playing, strumming and timing, chords, anything you might be interested in. Of course, you could just practice guitar by yourself, but if you're a beginner, there's some things that you don't know. And you can save a lot of headaches by checking with an actual instructor. It definitely helped me out when I was trying to get started. You know, things like having the right form and finger tricks that can make your playing easier.
One of their staff picks is Mark Barnacle. He's got a great intro course. He's been playing for 20 years. He's been a teacher for 15 years. He specializes in helping beginners get started and make quick progress, even people who don't view themselves as musicians or songwriters. So if you check him out, you can tell him I sent you.
Maybe the guitar isn't your thing. Maybe like, you know, working on digital audio workstations. Skillshare's got you covered there too. There's plenty of courses on making beats, on audio mixing, producing different genres of music, anything you might like. Of course, outside of music, there's an entire world of learning to explore. It's worth checking out. If you want to sign up, you can get Skillshare Premium by clicking the link in the description. The first 1,000 people to click the link will get a free trial of Skillshare, after which it is about $10 a month. Thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. This is the end of the video. I just thought that I would share a little bit of my musical journey. Playing music and replicating music is one of my favorite things to do. So I thought that I could give you guys a look into my world. If you're a musician, maybe I inspired a couple of people to give the guitar a try or another try. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there watching this video that already play the guitar really well. I want to absorb all of your skills. So let me know in the comments if you play guitar. Let me know how long it took you to get good. How did you practice? Details. Give me that. You can probably gauge my skill level from some of the B-roll in this video. So if you have any tips, feel free to send them my way. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Many uploads coming soon. I know it's been a dry season, crazy year, still recovering. Anyway, take care. See you later. Whoa. Before I go, there's a topic that I haven't touched that I could have put earlier in this video, but it's about the proposition that it's actually the human voice that's the best instrument in the world, the most versatile, the most accessible to everyone. If you've already said this in the comments, I can't say that I disagree. The human voice is very musical and can produce almost any sound. Just think about, professional beatboxers or whatever. Even language itself is technically musical. It's coded sounds organized around combinations of syllables ranging from simple to complex that signify meaning and feeling. So if you were to make that argument, I wouldn't be mad at you. In this video though, I decided to stick to actual instruments, the traditional ones. Anyway, it's just a bonus. Video's over now. Thanks. Take care.